My name is Lina, and I'm 28 years old. I live in a quiet seaside town called Willowport. It's the kind of place where the streets are lined with tall trees and you can hear the sound of seagulls every morning. I work at a small design studio downtown, making posters and flyers. It's not a big job, but I enjoy it. I like quiet mornings, warm tea, and watching the river when I need to think. For 4 years, I had someone beside me. His name was Tom. We met at a friend's birthday picnic. He made a silly joke, and I laughed harder than I expected. We started talking and never really stopped. Tom worked in sales for a travel agency. He talked to people all day, and sometimes he flew to other cities. He didn't live with me, but he was at my place so often it felt like home. We made dinner together. He brought flowers sometimes. He held my hand when I felt unsure, and he always talked about the future, our future. "We'll buy a little house someday," he'd say. "A dog in the backyard. Maybe a garden. Maybe kids." And I believed him. Every word. I thought love felt like that. Safe, soft, steady. Until one Friday night, something changed. I was washing dishes when my phone rang. It was Hannah, my best friend since school. Her voice was quiet. "Lina," she said, "I need to tell you something. I saw Tom yesterday." My heart didn't race at first. I just smiled. "Oh yeah, where?" She hesitated. "At the cafe near the river." He wasn't alone. I stopped drying the plate in my hands. "He was with a woman," Hannah said. "They were sitting really close. He was holding her hand. The air felt heavy around me. I wanted to laugh it off. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe she saw someone else. But Hannah wasn't dramatic. She didn't gossip. And in her voice, there was no anger, just sadness. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling for hours, remembering how Tom had messaged me the day before, saying, "Busy meeting, call you later." But he never called. The next evening, he came over with pizza, my favorite. He kissed my cheek and smiled like nothing was wrong. I wanted to believe him so badly, but something inside me whispered, "Ask him." So I did. "Were you at the River Cafe yesterday?" I asked. He looked surprised, but not shocked. "Yeah." "Were you with someone?" He nodded. "Emily, she works with me." "Did you hold her hand?" He looked away. "Yes." It was such a small word, just 3 letters. But it shattered everything. I stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the world looked normal. People walking, cars passing, lights flickering in shops. But inside me, everything felt upside down. "Why?" I asked him, my voice barely more than a breath. "I don't know," he said. "It just happened." He said he liked her, that they started talking, that he still cared about me but didn't want to hurt me. But I was already hurt, so deeply. I told him I needed time. He nodded, and he left, just like that. The silence after he closed the door was louder than anything I'd ever heard. I cried that night, for hours. I looked at our pictures on the wall, remembered the moments I thought were real, and wondered if they ever truly were. The next morning, Hannah came over. She brought coffee, warm donuts, and arms that held me when I couldn't speak. "You don't need to figure everything out today," she said. "Just rest. Just breathe." That weekend, I barely left the apartment. I read old messages, replayed memories, wondered if I missed a sign, wondered what I had done wrong. And then I opened a notebook. I started to write, not for him, not for anyone, just for me. I wrote my pain, my confusion, my questions that had no answers. Every day was hard, but I got up. I brushed my hair. I walked by the water. I went to work. I let Hannah sit beside me in silence. One night, I looked in the mirror. My eyes were swollen. My heart still ached. But I saw something else too. A woman still standing. Broken, maybe, but standing. I began clearing space. I packed away the gifts Tom gave me. I turned off my phone. I cleaned my room. And I whispered to myself, "You did nothing wrong. You loved. You trusted. That's not weakness." Days passed. The pain stayed. I smiled at work. But inside, I was a quiet storm. I missed his voice, his laugh. But I also felt something new, anger. He made promises and broke them like they were nothing. I wrote in my journal again, this time about who I was before Tom. The Lina who loved quiet parks, who painted on Sunday mornings, who hummed soft songs while folding laundry. She was still there. I just forgot her, and now I wanted her back. I wrote a list. Simple things. I want someone honest, someone who chooses me, someone who respects me, someone who makes me feel safe, not small. A week later, Tom called. I didn't answer. He called again the next day, and the next. Then he sent a message. "I miss you. Can we talk?" I didn't know what to say. I called Hannah. "It's your choice," she said. "But ask yourself, can you trust him again? And more than that, do you want to?" I thought about it all night. Then the next morning, I said we could meet, just to talk, in a public place. We met at the park by the river. The wind was soft. Leaves rustled above us. He sat beside me, looked nervous. "I'm sorry," he said. He talked about regret, about missing me, about not realizing what he had. I listened, but I also listened to something else myself. "I loved you," I said, "but you broke my trust. You chose someone else. I didn't deserve that." His eyes filled with tears. He didn't argue. "I can't stay in this relationship," I told him. "I need to move on, for me." He nodded. "I understand." I stood up. My legs shook, but my heart didn't. "Goodbye, Tom." And I walked away. That night, I cried again, but not from confusion, from clarity, from courage. In the weeks that followed, I came back to myself. I painted again. I read in the park. I drank tea on my porch while the wind played with my hair. And one afternoon, at the library, I reached for a book on the top shelf. "I've got it," someone said gently. I turned. A man with kind eyes, wearing a green hoodie, smiled as he handed it to me. "Thank you," I said. He smiled. Funny, we were reaching for the same book. His name was Ben. My heart jumped for a moment. The name reminded me of my past, but he wasn't the past. He was new. And more importantly, I was new too. We talked about books, about music, about nothing and everything. It was soft, simple, no rush. And I didn't give him all of me, not yet, because I had learned I don't need to be saved. I only need to be seen, respected, chosen. I don't know what the future holds, but I know this: I will never lose myself again. Because sometimes heartbreak isn't the end. Sometimes